Okay, so it's no secret that we've been starved of Payday 3 content for the last 7 months, and this week has felt like a beacon of hope with the whole "we're gonna be so back when DLC 2 releases" sentiment taking front and center in the community. Of course, we were told to stay hungry for June 27th and the release of the Boys in Blue DLC, but now that we're actually able to sink our teeth into the update and taste it for ourselves, well, are we eating good? And the simple answer is yes. But this is just the first taste of a 3-course meal that we're going to be served over the next few months. And while it took a little longer than expected to make its way out of the kitchen, it's now available for everyone. So let's tuck into everything that this update has to offer. First of all, we've got to address the server-sized elephant in the room and talk about the delay in maintenance ending and the game going back online. To give my 2 cents on the matter, while it's unfortunate and something that we'd all love to see avoided in the future, I'm choosing to just look at it as another couple of hours added to the last 7 months of waiting. From what I've managed to pick up, jumping from stream to stream during the downtime, the issue might have had something to do with the compensation items for the owners of the Syntax Era DLC, which would go a long way in explaining why they aren't available yet. They are coming within the next few weeks or so, we shouldn't have to wait until the next update to get them, but with that out of the way, let's get stuck into this update. Starting off with the titular Boys in Blue heist itself. I've played through it in both Loud and Stealth a couple of times, and I think it's a pretty fun heist both ways round. At times it can feel a little like 2 entirely separate heists, as in Stealth you spend the majority of your time inside the police station as you try to distract guards while sneaking your way around to hack into the lieutenant's computer and learn what locker a red keycard is in. And I suppose you're supposed to read the number before you head to the locker room, but I speak from experience when I say you are able to just lockpick all of the lockers if you fancy. Yeah, rookie error on my part there. But then after lifting some fingerprints from the correct desk, you'll be able to access the evidence room and steal the gold. The corridor leading up to the evidence room, however, can only support the weight of 1 heister, so you'll have to use the hatch in the wall to get the valuables out. It isn't much more than a gimmick for solo heisters, but provides a slight need for coordination for those of you tackling the heist in a team. Secure the gold, and it's payday. Flipping the script on its head, if you decide to go in guns blazing, you won't actually spend much time in the building itself at all. The majority of the Loud gameplay takes place in the car park. First, blowing a hole in the side of a building using some explosive Vlad stashed in a car that he had impounded. Then it's a matter of hooking up the winch to the evidence room door and waiting for it to be pulled off. At some point having to connect the tow truck to a nearby generator to give it some more power. Once you're inside the evidence locker, you'll have to drill your way to the gold before attempting to make your getaway. To escape the heist, you'll need to drill into the garages on the other side of the car park, which you can do at any time throughout the heist, I should add. Pick up a key from one of the 3 safes on the top floor of the police station, and as a side note, it's worth checking the other 2 safes, even if you get the key in your first one, because that's where you'll find the final 2 loot bags. With the key in hand, head into the garage, unlock the getaway van, because that's right, we're stealing a cop car, lug the heavy gold all the way over to the van, load it up, and get the hell out of there. And that's it, the Boys in Blue heist. Other than a few items and objectives that can change location, there's little in the way of variation in this heist. Just off the top of my head, it would have been cool to see a possible variation where the tow truck was parked in a different spot and we had to escort it to the right place before using the winch, or perhaps Vlad's impounded car was moved to a different station, meaning we'd have to find a different way to get a hold of explosives. You could just turn this into an objective in the vein of hold out until Bile drops some C4, but getting slightly more creative with it, perhaps we'd have had to break into an armory within the station to grab the explosives, and getting access to this armory could have been a whole chapter of the heist within itself. Potentially seeing a repurposed use for the fingerprint objective that we have in Stealth to access the room, and as a reward for throwing such a spanner into our plan, that armory could have had a couple of overkill weapons lying in there for us to use. But then again, I'm not here to talk about what the heist could have been, I'm here to talk about what it is, and although there are ways that I think it could have been better, I still think it's an absolutely fantastic addition to the game. In Loud, you have a side objective that requires you to steal some files from a server, and I continuously find myself staying around to complete that objective simply because I don't want to leave the heist. It's honestly one of the more fun and challenging heists within the game. The level design provides a handful of different environments, ranging from wide open car parks to somewhat open interiors, all the way to tight corridors and offices. There are even some really fun fun choke points to fight through, like the stairs between the upper and lower floors of the station, as well as the hole that we blow open in the wall of the station itself. On top of that, there are also some really nice little details that serve to add to the charm and identity of the heist while also having gameplay functionality, namely the donuts that you can find dotted around that grant you a full stack of edge, grit, and rush, an infinite supply of which can be found by placing down the donut box in the kitchen. The animation team clearly had fun with these donuts and it shows. The animation team have once again outdone themselves with this update, from objective-specific animations all the way down to some really unique weapon inspect and reload animations. A personal favourite of mine being the reload animation for the new Bull Kick 500. There's just something about the way the character spins the bullets out of the gun that makes it feel so unique. I've got to give props to the narrative team as well. While I don't want to spoil anything here, the heist does a great job of reintroducing Clover to the gang, giving her a reason to fight, and sets up the next heist very well too. But of course, no new heist would be complete without Gustavo putting together an absolute banger. The music for this heist fits the theme and gameplay so well, and I often find myself forgetting what I'm doing during the breaks between assault waves and just listening to the music. So all in all, while the heist doesn't do much in the way of adding anything that really shakes up the game, it does a brilliant job of utilizing the systems and objective types that are already within the game to create a heist that certainly finds itself amongst Payday 3's best. I've had to peel myself away from playing it to make this video, and you can be damn sure that I'm going straight back to it afterwards. But of course, we're nowhere near done. So far, we've only spoken about the heist. We've still got the rest of the DLC pack and Update 8 to talk about too. But just before we dive into anything else, I want to take a moment to ask that you consider subscribing if you haven't already. The recent growth here on the channel has been incredible and humbling, so thank you. You're probably sick of hearing me say that I've got some exciting plans for the future of the channel, but now that Boys in Blue is upon us, today's the day. Payday is a franchise that's always had community at its core, and as we're growing our own community here on the channel, that's something I really want to embrace. So I'm inviting you to leave a comment on this video giving your thoughts on Update 8. It could be about the update in general, it could be specific to the DLC, it can really be as specific or as broad as you'd like. Over the next few days, I'll compile those comments, and within the next week or two, make a video where I read through them, offer my response, and just let your words be heard. Of course, this is just step one for this series. I hope to continue to make videos like that for each update or whenever there's something to talk about. Even then, the topic I choose for a specific video doesn't have to revolve around an update. I've got a list of topics that I can ask you about in the future, and I'm hoping to bring other creators into the series as well. So say if we were to ever discuss the story, or the music, or the console community, I'm sure that some creators spring to mind. I'm really hopeful that over the course of Payday 3's life cycle, this channel can become a little bit of a community hub, and while I'll always be more than willing to share my opinion, I really hope that this is a place where people in the community can share their opinions as well. At the end of the day, when it comes to myself or any other Payday creator really that isn't necessarily part of the Starbreeze team, our channels are really just one person's opinion, and if we get a platform, so should you. And I really hope that this series I've been working on can facilitate that. So if you do have strong feelings about Boys in Blue, whether they be positive or negative, please share them in the comment section down below. And of course, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss those videos when they make their way to the channel. Anyway, moving on to the rest of the DLC pack, of course, we've got ourselves a bunch of new cosmetic items, including the Elmer's, Suave Grippers, Starcut, and Digiswipe gloves, the Supermax, Jailbird, Flight Risk, and RiotCon outfits, as well as the Clowninator, Killer K9, Clown Punk, and Mad Mask Raider masks, all forming the Tailor Pack. Cosmetics are always subjective, so I'm not going to talk about these any further than saying that they all fit the theme quite well and that the masks are fully customizable. The final element of the paid DLC is the weapon pack, containing a charm and a sticker, but more importantly bringing 3 new weapons to the game. These weapons are of course the ATK-7 SMG, Adalig RG5 assault rifle, and Bull Kick 500 revolver, all of which you've been seeing gameplay of throughout this video. I think it is a solid weapon pack, even though I think it's carried by the revolver that pretty much consistently one-shots anything that isn't a dozer. The SMG and AR are new fun toys to play with, each of course being fully customizable with around 29 mods between the 3 of them. Moving on from paid content to the free stuff. But staying on the topic of weaponry, Update 8 introduces the Blitzbrüter MX63, Payday 3's long-awaited first LMG, and it fits the bill. With 101 rounds in the magazine, this juggernaut certainly lives up to its namesake, which if you didn't know, Blitzbrüter roughly roughly translates to lead sprayer, which this gun definitely is. Obviously, to counterbalance the amount of ammo you can throw at your enemies, it has a slightly reduced damage, but fires at such a rate that you'll feel unstoppable at times. Pair the large magazine capacity with the ammo funnel and replenish skill, and you basically are. Of course, we've also got Clover's Queen's Revenge weapon preset and accompanying Shamrock Charm. While it's just a Car 4 at the end of the day, I love the design of this weapon, and it's quickly becoming my go-to assault rifle. And that brings us nicely to Clover herself, Payday 3's first new heister, but not a new face. Eva Duffin does a great job reprising her role. Clover slips right back into the crew, and she's got some of my favourite lines of any character in the game so far.
Situation okay?
Help me settle a bet, Control. Which mask would you rather wear? One that's all burnt up with pink shit on it, or one with a tasteful four-leaf clover accents?
She really fits the tone that I feel Payday 3 was going for, being a jovial heisting game that doesn't forget to take itself seriously at times. I really like Clover's default outfit, and of course it's great to see her classic mask back too. On the topic of masks, we've technically got 5 free ones with this update. The Hooded Haunt, Old Bob and Vicious Warrior masks, but also Clover's Banshee mask, and of course the Scarred Pig mask from the Twitch drops. All of the Twitch drops are now live, by the way, and you can get them all from watching 3 hours of any affiliated streamer on Twitch, assuming they're streaming within the Payday 3 category. But finally for this update, let's talk about Operation Medic Bag changes, and Update 8 brings 2 of them. The ability to rename your loadout, but more importantly, solo mode. Payday 3's first step towards a full offline mode. It works as a way to get into lobbies fast if you're queuing alone, and it's certainly going to make my life easier when I just need to jump into a game and grab some footage of some stuff, but of course, it's just phase 1, and even then, it is just a beta on top of that. I'd still rather have it than not have it though, at least until we get the full offline mode. And that's it, everything in Update 8 and the Boys in Blue DLC. But of course, there's still one more question. Are we back? Player counts are up, so are viewing figures on Twitch and YouTube, but honestly, no, we're not back. But Boys in Blue was never going to be where we came back. It's a turning point, not the end goal. I really believe that the numbers are going to continue to increase over the next few months as we get DLC 3 and 4. DLC 2 and Update 8 was a monumental step in the right direction and hopefully an indicator of things to come. I only say that we're not back because I truly believe that in the next few weeks we're going to go so much further than we are now that looking back on where we are now is going to feel like a drop in the ocean. But of course, if we aren't back yet, where are we? Well, I often say that the road to a better Payday 3 is a marathon, not a sprint, with Update 8 giving us everything that we've just spoken about and Update 9 hopefully giving us just as much. We are certainly back in the saddle and well and truly on the road again.
We fought, we hacked, we sabotaged, we robbed, we sacked, we ran. I'm on the road again. Let us settle this score.
I'm so excited for the future of Payday 3. The bar for the summer has been set, and it's over to the land of the free to push it further. Of course, remember to let me know what you think of DLC 2 in the comments section down below, and if you're interested in learning more about everything we can expect over the next few months, click the video on screen now and I'll see you in the next video.